Well, hey there team, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to some more Mars First Logistics. Right! The signal seems a bit fuzzy. We delivered the thing and that was so good. That was the most satisfying thing. Deliver a pizza? Oh my god. We know that's a terrible idea. Deliver Rover League ball, which will take us all the way out there. Delivering a water can? Have we not done this before? A spring? A spring. Spring. We could make suspension out of that. I don't know if you explicitly get suspension per se, but if we had a spring, we probably could fashion something, right? Jeez, I've never had to make my own custom suspension. Maybe. We'll see. Oh, that raises so many questions. Okay, what's this? 15-degree bend. Heavy spring. Curve. Panel. Switch. Like, I know we should probably be doing the main mission, but also spring. We're gonna do that. Recording. Better be recording. Okay, very good. Okay, so from there to there, and we've been to the laboratory before. This seems pretty straightforward. Fast track. Fast travel. Oh my god, this thing, man. The Scarlet Prong. I could probably just use this because I'm too lazy to change car. This is dumb. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hang on. No. Give it a go. Yes! Oh man. Memes. I could probably bring this in. Mate. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but have I accidentally made the greatest vehicle ever already? That solves all problems? Critics might disagree. Fans will say yes. Alright. How far we gotta take this? Where is it? 4 kilometers. We can do that. I mean, it doesn't seem to be the most pleasant. Once we get out of these cliffs, we'll be right. Probably aim for here. Aim for the bushes. Oh my god, the thing is flogging around. Ah, she'll be right. No! You idiot. Alright, hang on. Let's just reset it. Let's do it properly, yeah? That was fun. I was thinking to myself, I don't know if I even said it out loud, but it's like, why are they giving us another water can? Like, we've done that before, and I should have known. Oh, because they're gonna make you go through bloody dodgy terrain. Alright, let's think of it like this. There's 2 stages. There's pickup and there's secure, right? Now we've almost got we've got a pretty secure cage working, honestly, like this. We might even be able to adapt it and put a roof on it. So we just need a good way to pick that up and drop it off, which we don't really have. But how could we, like, I suppose we might be able to still rely on this to pick up that thing. But what we probably need is some sort of I was gonna think like an elbow to No, reset that. Let's make sure that this is saved because I'm enjoying this book of Scarlet's Curiosities. Alright. This is different music. Oh, this might be the overland driving music that they gave me too early. Alright, so what we need is... we need something that can go across, like left to right, on a piston, as it were, right? So how do I do that? Look, I'm just gonna Frankenstein something off the top because I need to. It's like needing visual aid. Where's my mouse pointer gone? Oh, there it is. Sorry. So we get this, and at its most basic, we have a piston doing that, right? That's how we pick it up, right? And we could probably use a claw. This is obviously not in the right spot yet. We could use that. Well, what do they call this? A hook or something? So you'd piston that in through the handhold. And then you could lift it up, and you would probably want... I'm having a real hard time keeping track of my mouse pointer today. You would want a servo thing. What is this? A passive joint. Rotates freely around one axis. That could be handy for craning things up, couldn't it? Whoa. I'm being distracted, hang on. Moves freely along one axis. What could I use these for? What could I use this for? Let something slide back and forth. You know, I could probably use this as part of a crane assembly that you tilt above and below a center sort of point, so that when you tilt the front down, it'll swing, the whole assembly will swing forward. And then when you tilt back up, you could bring it home. Short slider. We might try and use that in this assembly, just so it's a good exercise, right? It's good to keep your brain working as someone whose brain doesn't work that well. Okay, yeah. All right, we'll put that in the back of our brain. What we need is this powered joint, but we need it going the other way. So we'll just use one of these knuckles. Right, and then we'll use... say, like that, into that, into that, like roughly, right? And now I'll do that properly. And now, like, put it in your mind's eye that this was down, trying to hook into the watering can. You'd use this to insert. How invasive. And then you would potentially use this to hook secure as required, right? And then you'd use some sort of assembly to bring it home to the tray, to the trolley. And then what you could probably do is bring this back in and you could just drop release, right? Yeah. What's going to be the best way? Is it worth having a piston to piston sort of setup, like to keep that compact? How would that work? No, because you would still need... Well, how would you do this? What I'm trying to think... I'm sorry. It's a tricky thing to let your inside thoughts run wild and then verbalize the million things that are going on. What am I trying to say? What I really want is an extender here, because that's about... Is that about the right size? I think it's a little bit shorter, to be honest. And we do that. I don't know much about crane design theory, right? Most of them are pretty feature complete, right? Elbow. Into that. Right? So, by doing something like that, you have the power to extend insert, then hook, then bring it back, and then bring it further back as required, and then deposit. Yeah, I think that works. Alright, so that assembly is all good and well. I'm tempted, like I said, I'm tempted to try and figure out a way to use that other part. This. How would we do that? I feel like you could attach that whole assembly to that. You would need something like... We're actually running out of these knuckle things. Just get... I wouldn't mind a more compact version of this this thing, but whatever. Right, so something like that. And in turn, you'd kind of attach this. No, I just want you on the end, please. Too many... this is the punishment I get for using the knuckle things. There we go. Right, so if it was something like this... Yeah, you see what I mean? It free... There you go. Yeah, we need degree of rotation. Funnily enough, that would work well. Like, what is this middleman? Crying out loud, it resets everything. Yeah, see? It's kind of groovy. Like, again, a little contrived. I wanted to illustrate, I mean, part for you, but because I'm not the expert, I'm the idiot. But I find, like, using new parts, like, finding a use for the part is a good starting point to figuring out where to go from there. Now, we could probably back to back. Oh, we'd have to buy one of these, wouldn't we? 160 bucks. Oh, I think I already had a short one, actually. I mean, I know there's no refunds, but let's just put a little short one on. Oh, hang on, that's not going to work, is it? Oh. God, this is a Frankenstein's monster of a creation you've made, Scarlett. Why? Why would you suddenly want to do it that way? I don't even understand what you're trying to tell me to do here. That's what I want. Yes, even more messy. I love it. Oh, see, why do you look like that? But when I reset, you don't look that way. Now you're just confusing me, game. I thought you were back to front, so I... Okay. No, you can't do that! Oh, wait, hang on. No, you're being stupid. People are probably screaming because you're not getting it. Okay. I understand. I understand. Right. I'm getting sick of this bloody gate thing. That's better. Oh, God, I'm good at this. All right. Excellent. That's all right. We won't. I was going to say we won't touch it. Immediately bumps into it. Alright, so all we've got to do is line it up here roughly along one axis. Right? Then we can rotate into another. Right? Now, we don't actually have a lot of control over our distance. Now then we go... Shit. You reckon that'll work? Might have to adjust that claw in another build, but... Alright. Nope. Okay. Now. Yeah. No. Yeah, that's the rough idea. Now the problem, as much as I enjoyed the idea of using those extendo things, is I don't have a lot of control over them now. Because if I wanted to drop this in, see that they're going to start rolling out. Right? So what we actually do need, it's actually a really good example of how we need a piston. But how stable you reckon that is? I reckon that's pretty stable. It's too much pinching going on, and we've discovered the way that, however bloody friction works in this. Pinching is incredibly powerful in this game's engine, which we did. We managed to pinch that entire bloody box shut. Remember? Yeah, it's we're well and truly overdue for a refit of the undercarriage. And you know, through all this prototyping, this is actually one of the best engineering, and by engineering I mean like general industry design principle. Oh shit, I pressed a button. Like the sort of trial and error. I managed to wedge it back again. The prototyping is a cleaner word for it. Like there is iterative design and there are repeat factors given the space we work in. Like I'm trying to think of industry. But obviously these puzzles still have a limitation to what we're constructing, what we're doing. Where ultimately you're picking something up, you're putting it in a secure state, and then you're taking it to a drop-off and potentially having to manipulate it into a contrived drop-off, right? We've seen that maybe once or twice. My point is, like, the mission parameters are still actually relatively fixed. And through that, you're seeing some repeat design concepts, right? Obviously having a robust crane with like 6 degrees of freedom, but depending on what you're trying to get out of it and where, you know, it's heading in that direction. Where I do wonder if you might actually be able to design a super vehicle at some point that can do every task, essentially. It's going to be tough because they're going to, you know, they're going to have super small things and super large things and... Anyway, so this is what sits in the back of my mind while I'm still trial and erroring, but the idea that there's sort of project scope within, you could call it an industry, because each project is sort of chained in a way. Look, I find all that interesting. Oh my god, look at that. That's not a spring. That's not a spring. That is suspension. That is a spring attached to a rail to keep it fit. Well, which makes sense. Imagine if they had a slinky spring in this game. This very rigid, it very clearly moves along axes in binary forms. Rotate left or right, extend out or back. I don't know. I don't think this game would enjoy springs too much. However, it lets us roll down hills and shit, and I see there's beach balls that we can transport. I might eat my words after all that. That's so exciting. Do we do a carriage refit? I mean, I keep threatening to. Let's save that. Okay. What do we, I'm on the wrong tab. Let's bring it back. Wait, what are you doing? I'm right-clicking. Why are you building things? Okay. How are we gonna do this? Oh my god, I didn't even ask how expensive. This spring will be $1 billion. Yeah, look at that. I don't think I can even buy 4. Well, hang on a sec. Maybe I should buy 4. Alright, can I afford 4 is the more important question. I've already got 1. 360, I can do that. How do I buy? F. Oh god, we're coming right down to the wire. So, geez, this is interesting. So we're gonna want to. How best to do this? If I just put them all on straight up springs. I mean, we'll keep that. That wheel span seems like a pretty good wheel span, honestly. But also, I'm not happy about our height. Ugh. It's a very long spring, isn't it? The other one that we can get is like called a heavy duty spring or something, isn't it? Oh, how's it gonna handle it if I put it right out on an axle like that? How are you gonna feel about that, game? Like it. Do we bring the suspension in close, or do we put it out wide? I wonder. This is very fascinating. It's been a very long time since I've done anything like this. During uni, we had to do like a robot building competition. Yeah, see, okay. Immediately as soon as I do that, we still... Like, that's cool. Look at collecting. But I still do not like having that... these wings. They're going to sort of defeat the entire purpose of the exercise, right? Because we're trying to remove... God, what's the word? We're trying to create clearance for the ground floor, right? That makes much more sense. Great Scott. Wait, what are you doing, Scarlet? Hang on. I was on autopilot. Apologies. That's what we want. Yeah. Right, unless there's something I haven't thought of. For the moment, that seems the most reasonable. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, you could argue it's gonna wobble around a lot, and our center of mass sits a lot higher. And I wonder how weight affects the suspension as well. And like how much my blocks weigh. But this should make for a much more pleasant ride. Oh my god, did you see that? Did you see? Watch the front suspension. Look how it goes all the way in. How much play we got. Oh, oh, baby. I mean, she's not rigid, but this thing's gonna climb over anything now. All right. Yeah. I don't think there is any way to adjust the spring's profile. Like, it's not like you can make it more rigid. It's got a weight, I suppose. So does everything. How much do these weigh? Two, right? So what happens if I... Interesting. Let's go. I give you the Scarlet Unicorn. This is really fascinating. So someone out here was threatening to give me an antenna. What is an antenna? You know, in the scope of the game. Quarter circle 2x2? Is that what I'm thinking? Is that like a larger curve? Like wheel sized? That's interesting. 1/4 spacer. I think spacers are... Is that? No, connector? I don't even know what a spacer is. I don't think I've heard of that before. The collecting of the parts actually makes my day. See, one switch. I can't imagine what you would need a switch for. Or maybe you have multiple things, like let's say you had multiple wheels set to one channel. Maybe you can flick a switch to disable X wheels within that channel. So it gives you the ability to go in with them all on a channel, but also modify that in real time. So maybe you want to turn some of the steering off situationally. I reckon that's what it is. Wait, wasn't there another spring? Am I going crazy? Are we losing jobs? Deliver pizza is a plate. I swear Deliver Pizza was also a spring. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Rewatch the video, correct me. I thought there was like a heavy spring. Is this changing rewards on us? Is that what's going on, actually? And I don't know what a striker is. That feels like that might even be a particular vehicle build. I'm not sure. Okay, anyway, I'm quite happy with the suspension. It's only really gonna work with super wide profile wheels, right? Because these are really small, aren't they? Yeah, right, so... And... You know, I could... sit the frame lower, right? Depending on what we need from the suspension, how wide we need. Because wide's not necessarily a problem anymore. But we could... What am I thinking? Come on, Scarlett, what are you thinking? What I'm thinking is... something to the effect of... I want to do this before I finish because I'll forget. Let's say we do just that as a little example. No, are you doing it back to front? You might be doing it back to front. I think you're doing it back to front. Yeah. Wait, what are you trying to do here, dickhead? Copy that. Right. Let's just save this even though it's a bit oblong. Because I'm about to change it. Do you see what I'm doing, team? Maybe not. What I'm doing is I'm going to maintain the suspension, but potentially have the center of gravity sit lower, right? So copy that, delete these. Sort of a little bucket, right? Do you see what I mean? So we've still got the same sort of play in that suspension. But we're sitting a bit lower. In fact, it feels much more stable, doesn't it? But of course, we don't want it necessarily to sit too Lamborghini low, scraping the ground, because that was a bit of a problem. In which case, you know what you could do? You could have hydraulics. Oh my god, you could, couldn't you? Oh, I'm making a pimpmobile. Right? You could actually have like a hydraulic. I'm not going to do it now, but see if you can imagine what I'm trying to. Here's your homework. In how I added these little clean hook joints, I could work a suspension along the Z-axis, up and down, right? And you could actually lower and raise the profile of the car if we got into trouble, right? So like, you could say you were coming up on one of these crests that we keep getting our tummies stuck on, and it's particularly aggressive. You could press a button and you could raise the entire frame up higher, so that the bottom is less close. And it might be hard to visualize now, but the point of doing that would be that I could let this sit really low to the ground at a default state to lower the entire center of gravity pretty much 90% of the time. But if we're in a situation where we're going to start scraping along the ground, we will hydraulic adjust the suspension or the bottom as needed. I hope this makes sense. I think it makes sense, but I could just be insane, you know? There's a reason I'm a YouTuber and not an actual engineer, hey? So... Anyway, let's wrap it up there. Team, feedback welcome, thoughts welcome. Might just leave it there for the time being, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.